Hi, this is Jana, and I wanted to bring to you today a tutorial to give you some ideas how to use brush tools to distress your paper or to create new papers, and also to do a a kind of blended look with your pictures and different things that you can do using your photo masks and you know a different kind of grunginess. I think you will understand more what I say when you see this example. And I'm going to be using a brush tool set, NBK-Designs that I will scrap. She has 6 sets of brush tool sets. And what I like about these brush tool sets is that she has on regular brushes and she has on tool palette, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when we go to Photoshop. But this is basically all the brushes that comes in the set. There's a lot of brushes there, so you can do a lot of distressing and different designs with it. So here in Photoshop, I have new paper from the September collection of Memory Box. And this particular set is called Canvas, and it's a nice set of canvas papers. And I love that it already has texture, so you can do a lot with it. So let's go and start it with how can you create different papers and different stressings and masking with your papers. And I'm going to do more layouts with ideas about that. But first, I just want to introduce the brushes and let you see what the brushes can do. And later I can do more tutorials of ideas on how to use that on papers using other products. Usually when I install this set, again, what I love about her is that she does give us this option to install in a regular brush or the tool. So here, when you go to your brush set on Photoshop, you have all your brushes on your preset. But what I like to install this particular brush set is on the tools here. So you can see here all her brushes. The reason why, there are 2 reasons I install them on the tool section here. First, because I use a Wacom tablet and you have more variation and you can use more when you're using the tools palette. The second reason is that I already have so many brushes on the brush palette that I don't want to confuse. Usually, these are special brushes that I have here, or brushes that have some particular designs. But if you're using a version that doesn't have that, or you don't want to try that, you can install them here on the normal brush, and they're gonna work the same way. Also, if you want to modify more, then you can go here to the brush preset and you can see all the things that she did and you can modify if you want to. But these are what is called dynamic brushes. And dynamic brushes, they are special brushes. I particularly love them because they have, as you can see here in the brush preset, many different, I would say, special features to them. And this makes a huge difference when you're using brushes on Photoshop. Sometimes if a designer doesn't do this, so I go ahead and I change shape dynamics and all that, because what that happens is that if you keep brushing the brush the same way, it's not going to have variety on your layout, on your design. There is a class at scrapnears.com all about brushes, and she goes in details about each one of these categories. So I would recommend that class as well. I think it is one of the tools that are most important in Photoshop if you do digital art or scrapbooking, is to know how the brush palette works and what you can do with all these presets here, because you can change your brush to infinite levels of use. So I would recommend that to learn more about that and learn about the tool palette and all this kind of stuff. But let's have some fun here. And I already have a color. So I just wanted to show you, I have a new layer here. And I'm just gonna brush the brushes. You can change the size if you want. But as you see, when you brush, they have a flow to it. And each brush should put a particular set. So this one is very grungy, as you can see. If I press down more with my walk on, then I have more. But I guess if you just stop with your mouse and press, then you're gonna have the same effect. If I go very light on my tablet, then I get a very light distress. One of my favorites are the script. So it has like distressed words. I really love this one. Let's start another one. And I guess you can have an idea. One of my favorites is a chevron. And honeycomb is one of my favorites as well. So, because it remembers me a little bit of punchinella when you're using real art journal. So what you can see, like if I just start a new layer here. So if I go to the honeycomb again, and suppose you want to create some more layers and distress things and things like that. So I can just use on the side here and start to build some texture on the top of my paper here. And then go ahead and have some scripts. Ideally, you would put this on, one new layer of each, but this is just for demonstration. So this one is really nice. I like that. So here we can see we start to build some layers on the layout. So setting that, that's the paper there, and I want to show you what we can do with regular masks. So here I have one of the photo masks one, and let me show you this set. So this is a set that she has with photo masks and different ones. So as you can see, she has other photo masks that are really distressed already. But here she has some ones that are just paints. So it gives you some more space to do some more things. So I'm using one of the sets, is Photo Masks 1, Adobe Scraps as well. So I have that. And here I have a picture of my sister, and I clipped to the layer mask there. But let me make this a little bit bigger. Suppose you want to distress even more. Now let me make the picture bigger. So suppose you want to distress this mask even more than already distressed, because whatever you're working on, or sometimes if the mask is a little rounded, you wish it would have a little more grunginess. So here I create a layer mask, and if you see, the layer mask is on my photo mask here, and it's not hiding anything because it is white. So I click on the mask here, and now I have here black. And I'm gonna now choose a brush, and I like that script. So I'm just gonna go here on the borders and stress a little bit more. So if you feel that your mask is not completely blending with the background, you could do that. So you could just crunch it up a little bit more. So that's very subtle. So I guess let me use my favorite again. So honeycomb, you see that it's very, very light, and we give it a little distress. Of course, if you have more layers underneath this, you could see better, but because my paper is white, but I guess you have the idea. Another thing that is my favorite is creating your own photo mask with the brushes. So, and it causes a really blended look. I'm just gonna hide this. I'm gonna unclip this. So I have the picture here. I use this technique over and over again. It's one of my favorites. So here on the layer mask, I'm gonna create an inverted layer mask, and I'm gonna click option on my Mac. I'm not sure what it is on PC. Maybe it's control. Or you can go to layer, create an inverted mask. So I have all black here. So I'm gonna set to white. I'm gonna get my brushes again. And have to put to white. Make sure you are on the mask here, not on the picture. And I'm gonna start to make the picture appear. Because I want her actual face to show more, I'm gonna come here to my regular brushes and just get a soft brush and I'll just make her appear a little bit so I can know where she is. Okay, so I come again here. Big watercolor. I'm gonna increase a little bit the size, and you can control here. You see this one doesn't have a lot of flow, so I can increase the flow, and I make her come more. And then she starts to show more, as you can see. And this is like you can spend, to me, this is very relaxing, so I can spend hours. Before I go, I just want to show, I forgot to put here a layout that I did that it has a similar effect that you can see what you can achieve with this and some examples of a layout that I did. So this is a layout that I did with the same technique. So I'm just gonna tell you what I did here. I started with the same thing, with the picture, and I make the picture come all just with the brushes. And what I did was to use her magic lights and put behind my picture. And also what I like to do is to clip magic lights on my mask. So you can see here, let me get my pointer. You can see here that it's all inside as well, the face. This way, it really seems that it is a transfer, almost like when you have paper techniques that you have transfers that come, you put what you call, you use kind of like Mod Podge, or and you make the picture come from the paper. And I think it's a very nice. So as you can see, you can then, after you do the distressing, you can use other things. If I'm not wrong, this is Remarkable Kit. And oh no, I think this was Lavender. Yes, at Old Scraps. And she has some magic overlays here that has the lights. As you can see here, it has some lights, and I use that to do the layout. I hope you enjoy it, and I will come back with more of these tutorials. I would like if you would be kind, and if you like this tutorial, please go to my blog and sign up for my newsletter. I'm creating a new blog, and I'll put more tutorials on this new blog, and you're gonna know when I'm coming up with more tutorials through my newsletter, or also my Facebook page at Two Words, facebook.com/2words. So thank you so much.